Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
Hey, it's me, the Quenchies. I'm that late afternoon craving you just can't shake. Wait, what's that? Welch's Grape Aid? No! Made with real fruit and no added sugar, nothing answers the call of the Quenchies like Grape Aid. Got the Quenchies? Grab a Grape Aid in your juice aisle.
Well, what a day this is. Special day. Today is our centennial, the 100th anniversary of the founding of Sunnydale, and I know what that means to all you kids. Not a darn thing. Because today, something much more important happens. Today, you all graduate from high school. Today, all the pain, all the work, all the excitement is finally over. Now, what's 100 years of history compared to that?
My God.
You know what, kids?
He's gonna do the entire speech.
Maybe the
Man, just ascend already.
Maybe we have a place.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we've reached the end of Season 3. Season 3, Episode 22, titled Graduation Day Part 2, written and directed by Joss Whedon. Got some staggered air dates. In Canada, this episode came out May 24th, 1999, but in America, or USA, came out July 13th, 1999, to an audience of 6.53 million people. And we did it, Vance. We were 3 seasons in here. We did all 3 seasons, and we're done now.
Yeah. 3 seasons and a movie, right? That's what we said.
Yeah. That's it. No, obviously not.
Yeah, this train just keeps on moving.
It absolutely does. And guess fucking what, everybody? We got a big old shout out at the beginning. We got a shout out for an excellent review. Thank you so much to Sinful Sen for the review that you left. It was very lovely. 5 stars. Guys and gals and others, you want to get a shout out? You got to give us one of them Apple Podcast review. If you don't have Apple Podcasts, make an account. It's free. I hear a lot of these people are like, I don't have Apple. Yeah, you make one.
I forgot my password. It's time to figure out that password.
Make another one. Make multiple. Give us all kinds of...
And then,
thank you.
You can clip the shout out and share it to your friends.
Exactly. So Sinful Sen, thank you so much for that excellent review. We really appreciate reading those. Brightens our day. And speaking of brightening days, Vance and I have copious amounts of announcements at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah, we got you hooked in. Now it's announcement time.
It is announcement time. We've got some housekeeping. So we've been teasing it. We've been saying to join it. Our Patreon. We're going to finally announce today what we've got going on with the Patreon. So we've heard everybody just fiending, just can't get enough of the boys.
The vocal minority.
So we finally have decided, after much deliberation and discussion, what we're going to be doing. So as of right now, our Patreon consists of a $1 a month or whatever you want to contribute general support system, which we really appreciate. We've got a couple of people on that. Thank you so much for that general support. But after this season and a couple of extra, we got some extra stuff coming your way.
Well, everybody. It'll be up there. It should be up there right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. We are going to be doing Boys Watching Angel. We're going to be doing that as a Patreon exclusive podcast review. The episodes aren't going to be as long as these ones. You know, we can't be doing 2-hour episodes for every fucking show. But
yeah, we're going to be doing mini Angel reviews.
Yeah, so we're hooked. We heard you guys loud and clear. You wanted the boys to go and check out Angel. We're going to be doing that, and that will be our $5 tier. So that's $5 a month. We'll be doing the Patreon exclusive Boys Watching Angel. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And then we're going to be doing an additional tier for $8 a month where you have access to Boys Watching Angel and you get some additional content. Me and Vance are going to be doing movie reviews. We're going to be, checking out some current movies, some older movies. We're going to be giving our thoughts and opinions on those. We'll be releasing one of those a month.
At least. Yeah.
And this is a big also hook for you guys to join the Discord because we're going to be asking you for like opinions on which movies we should review, what we should check out, and if there's anything else that you'd like us to review. And it's just going to be Boys Watching X. I don't know what we're going to call that one, but it's going to be the Boys Mega Review. I don't know. Plus, in that $8 a month tier, I'm planning on doing a little bit of additional, maybe like some video content for you guys to check out. I'm not quite sure. I have some ideas on it, but it's going to be a very, fluid type of deal where it's just going to be like, every once in a while I'll be dropping some video stuff because I've got fuckloads of video equipment that I just never use. And this would be a good excuse to use some of that, some of this equipment that I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on.
So go for the $8 tier, get it all, But if you're just an Angel diehard, you definitely want to get it for this season because I hear it's pretty much a companion piece to season 4 of Buffy that's coming up. So
yeah. Exactly. Also, as you know, I've got my half-hour comedy special recording on November 1st at El Cid at 7 p.m. So check that out. And I think those are all the announcements at the top of this here, Vance, right?
Yeah. How can they get to the Patreon?
You get to the Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy. We will also link it in the show notes, and you can check out those tiers. We'll have information on it on that website as well. And who knows, maybe down the road, if we get inspired, maybe, I don't know if you'd be interested in merch. We might be making some Boys Watching Buffy merch, depending on how hard it is to create.
Joe likes to hand sew everything. His fashion corner is not a is not one of those shops that you hear about.
Yeah, it is American made.
Made in Joe's apartment.
North Hollywood made up. Now everyone can triangulate exactly where I live. Great.
You're not hard to find.
No. I literally post where I am all the time. All right, Vance. I think that is everything that we need to attack before we get into the episode. Shall we do this recap for the end of season 3?
Let's do it. And follow us at Boys Watching Buffy on Instagram.
Yeah. That's a good place to find all the updates and everything.
Yep.
Okay, so this episode starts out with a recap of basically everything that's been going on in season 3. We got Faith, we got the accidental murder, we've got the mayor and Faith having some kind of father-daughter relationship. We got Buffy fighting Faith, stabbing her in the gut, kicking her off the roof. Or didn't kick her off the roof, but, Faith falls into a truck bed and it drives away.
She perfectly times her fall.
Absolutely. Absolutely she does. And the truck driver just keeps going.
I like she dies in spite. Like she's like, fuck Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how she went out.
Yeah. So the actual episode opens up with Buffy right where we left off the last episode. She's out on the roof. She's watching Faith's, unconscious body drive away on this truck. And she's just staring at it like...
To me, she looked concussed.
Oh, yeah, she did. She definitely got concussed.
She's like, because the truck's already gone. She's just like staring.
She's in a stupor.
Yeah.
She's seeing stars.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so she's just like, well, fuck, there went my plan. All right, well, I'm going to climb down this ladder that's conveniently located right next to this. I'm going to do it real slow.
You almost got your prediction of her just bounding through rooftops.
Yeah.
But Buffy does not chase.
No, she doesn't. She never chases anything.
Yeah.
She just climbs down this ladder. And as soon as she's out of sight, the camera pans over to the window that she and Faith fell out of, and the mayor has just arrived, and he's looking out. And he's like, what the fuck? What happened here? Faith and Buffy must have gotten into a fight. Why would she go out onto the roof? This doesn't make any sense. Faith isn't the type to do this. And then he's got a gang of vampires with him. He's like, we got to find Faith. We got to find Faith. And somebody's like, well, what about the Ascension? He's like, fuck the Ascension. Where's Faith? We got to find her. And it's like, oh, wow. Faith's more important than the Ascension, eh?
Yeah.
And
he's like, yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, he's looking around the apartment. He's whispering to himself. He's like, Faith's going to be all right. She's going to be all right. She's a good, strong girl. She's going to be fine.
Where's this energy from Mr. Trick?
Right? Mr. Trick was just falling by the wayside.
Yeah.
I think we all know why. It's because the mayor's racist.
He's 100 years old. The Buffy leaves the knife on the windowsill, like on the rooftop. And it's so crazy because the mayor doesn't go out there to look and examine. He just looks from the window. He's like, yeah, she's fine. I'm not even going to look over the edge.
I completely forgot that Buffy left that on the edge of the building.
Yeah.
Because that comes into play a lot later.
It does. And I guess the police just don't even investigate this.
No, why would they?
Yeah. I mean, so that place is probably just left off.
They're too busy high off the band candy still.
I mean, there's so much going on in Sunnydale. I'd be like, how many people are dead? What, 2? Yeah. We can't come. Just figure it out
2,
yourself.
And it seems like a regular murder?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. You want us to investigate a regular murder?
the missing persons in this town. But yeah, so I was just like, the knife thing. I was surprised that she just left it there.
Well, it's also a gigantic plot hole.
No, it's not. She can come back because no one took it.
Okay.
That's it.
But yeah, the mayor is worried about Faith is basically what the purpose of this is. So then we go to Xander and Giles in the library, and they're doing some research on Olvicon, which is the demon that the mayor is planning to turn into, the pure demon or whatever. And they're looking around, and Giles is like, oh, let's drink some coffee. And Xander's like, aren't you more of a tea guy? And he's like, I'm looking to be tense, so I'm drinking coffee. And he drinks it. It's terrible. And Cordelia shows up, and she's like, excuse me, you two. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on here, but I just got off the phone with Wesley, and he says that he's leaving town. What the fuck happened? How come Wesley is leaving town? And then Giles is like, well, hate to break it to you, Cordelia, but Buffy quit the Watchers Council. And without Buffy doing that, there's really no purpose for Wesley being here.
There's actually no purpose for the Watchers.
There's no purpose for Wesley ever being there.
True. And
if you could just quit, is this the first time that anyone's thought to quit?
There's only one Slayer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's wild to me that since the beginning of civilization, this Watchers Council has existed. And this is the first one that's like, I'm not taking your orders.
Or they just they have to try to kill her to make a new one, right?
To have him under their thumb, I guess. Yeah. You can't have a rogue fucking Slayer out and about.
I guess you can because they just let Faith walk around. They're so bad.
Very true.
They're so bad.
The Watchers suck, dude. They suck so bad. But Giles is like, so Buffy quit the Watchers Council, so there's no point for Wesley to be here, so he's going back to England. And then Cordelia hits him with, well, you got fired from the Watchers Council and you still hang around like a big loser. Why can't he?
Just classic Cordelia. I love it.
It was such a great line. And Giles looks at her like, I guess you got me there.
It's the delivery, though. It's delivered so matter of fact.
Yeah.
that it's not like she's not even trying to burn, but she just can't help.
So, yeah, you hang around like a big fucking loser. Why can't he stay?
And I was thinking about this watching this episode of this series, and just the casting decision to make Sarah Michelle Gellar Buffy and Charisma Carpenter Cordelia. Like, you swap those, and I don't think the show lasts at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like no matter how well it's written and performed, like we watched the unaired pilot with the different Willow, like casting's so huge.
Absolutely.
And they nailed it. Yeah.
It's always wild to hear about like, oh, like Charisma Carpenter actually auditioned to be Buffy. And you're like, I can't picture that at all because she's such a perfect Cordelia.
Yeah.
You know? And
I can't picture Sarah Michelle. I could see Sarah Michelle Gellar doing a Cordelia though. But like in a movie, like a Cruel Intentions type thing, you know?
Yeah. But then Xander kind of interrupts like the Cordelia insult fest. And he's like, hey, we're dealing with some more important shit going here. All right. Are you going to help us or are you not going to help us? And then Cordelia's like, all right, fine. I guess I'll help you. But I'm not happy about this Wesley situation.
And she blames it all on Buffy. Buffy only cares about herself.
Yep. Very, very ironic coming from Cordelia. Anyway, so then we go over to Angel's mansion and Angel is there and he's sweating up a storm. He's been a very, very bad cat. He's gotten sprayed in the face quite a bit.
Have you noticed that his wound is very shouldery now?
Yeah.
And it was definitely closer to just to the left of the heart and the chest last time. But it's like now it's a shoulder bullet wound.
Yeah. And he's sweating up a storm and he's a little unconscious. And then Willow's watching over him. And then Angel wakes up and he's like, oh my God, have you been here watching over me? And Willow's like, yeah. And he's like, oh my God, I fucked up. I don't want to leave. I don't want to ever leave you. I don't want to leave you at all. I want to stay with you all the time. And he starts caressing Willow and Willow's like, oh no, oh, you think I'm not Buffy at all. I'm Willow.
Yeah, he's like kissing her hand. And I'm like, get your hand away from those fangs.
Right, dude? And she's like, oh my God. And the Angel's like, I don't want to dump you anymore. I don't want to leave town. And Willow's like, I'm gonna, we've been all taking turns watching over you, actually. I'm gonna leave. You seem like you're okay. And then the Angel kind of goes back to like unconsciousness. Mm-hmm. So Willow leaves and Oz is in the other room. And Willow goes up to him and she's like, man, he is delusional right now. He keeps thinking that I'm Buffy. And then Oz goes, oh, you too?
Dude, that would make me laugh.
Yeah.
Because he just goes, oh, you too, huh?
Yeah.
It's like so good.
And then just the mental image that I got of like Angel kissing Oz's hands.
Yeah, I think that makes it better because if it was just him and you saw it happen, you were like, this is goofy. But like just picturing it yourself. So
it was such a good. I wonder, that seemed like it was like an ad-libbed line. Like Seth Green was like, this would be funny to fucking just say this.
Yeah, I could see them writing that though, too.
Yeah.
But Seth Green in this, I will say, he's got some great stuff. He's awesome.
Yeah, he does.
Oz is great.
But yeah, so Willow's like, man, this is crazy. I feel so bad about Angel, and I feel bad that Buffy has to go and kill Faith. You know, I'm feeling like really guilty about what happened tonight because, you know, on one hand, Angel's dying, you know, the Ascension's happening, there's all this strife happening, but in another sense, this is the best night of my fucking life because I got some sweet, sweet poon tang. And Oz is like, don't you dare feel guilty about that, you sweet young thing.
And then they just start doing it right there.
Yeah, right on top of Angel.
Yeah.
And he's like, Buffy? Is it both Buffys? Two Buffys. But no, they do start making out pretty hardcore. They start kissing.
Did you think the scene was going to just cut away right here? Or like, no. I thought it was going to cut to a different scene. I didn't realize that.
I didn't think it was. I thought that somebody was going to walk in, but I didn't think it was going to be Buffy because Buffy walks in and Buffy's all sad. And Willow's like, oh, we were just watching over him. He's fine. He's looking for you. Mm-hmm. And Buffy's looking all sad. And they're like, what happened with Faith? And Buffy's like, she got away. And then they're like, oh, but is she still alive? Is the plan still in act? She's like, no, I killed her. And they're like, oh, shit. And Buffy's like, can you guys leave? I just want to be alone with Angel for a bit. I'm like, yeah. We got to go fuck anyway.
Yeah, we want to be alone too. So yeah, this is perfect.
So Buffy goes over. She starts walking over to Angel's room, and Willow's like, you know what? We're going to find another cure. Don't you worry about it. And Buffy's like, shut up, Willow. Like, there's no other cure. We botched this whole thing. Angel's going to die. And Willow's like, oh, okay. And then so Willow and Oz leave.
What's easier, taking down the Ascension demon or catching a Slayer?
I just don't know why. Like, she could have caught up with Faith on that truck bed.
She didn't even try.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she was concussed. From our point of view, it looked like she was seeing stars.
From that one punch at the end.
Yeah.
There. I guess it was like multiple punches.
One punch hit the back of the head on the fall. I had a friend in New York who's a comedian who he got into a fight, just like a bar fight, and he punched the guy. It was just a regular punch. The guy fell back, slammed his head on the back of a thing, and was in a coma for a bit. Yeah. So that shit's serious. And then he came out of the coma and sued him for like $100,000. And so he was just always like dead. So yeah, I feel like that might have been what happened to Buffy here.
Yeah, it's fine. I know.
But she's a Slayer, so she can heal fast.
Yeah. I knew what they were trying to go for here. But yeah.
So Willow and Oz leave. Buffy goes over to Angel's bedside, and Angel wakes up and he's like, oh my God, Buffy. Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you. And, I think I'm ready to die. And I just wanted to say goodbye to you right before I die anyway. So I'm happy that I get to say one last goodbye. And Buffy's like, you can't die. You have to survive. And I was like, why? Because he's got a spinoff coming? Because the boys need to review his fucking show? Yeah. Is that why? But he's like, no, I'm ready to die. And Buffy's like, no, there is a cure. The cure is to drink the blood of a Slayer. And you're going to drink my blood. And Angel's like, wait, what about Faith? Why can't I feed on Faith? And Buffy's like, that's not an option anymore.
Buffy's like, drink me.
Yeah, she just keeps being like, drink me. And then Angel gets up. He's like, no, I refuse. I'm not going to drink your blood. And he starts walking away and he stumbles. And Buffy walks up after him and she picks him up. And then she just fucking decks him in the face. And Angel's like, what? And he comes back. And Buffy looks at him. And she punches him in the face again. And Angel's like, babe, why are you doing this to me, babe? And Buffy looks and she's not satisfied yet. So she punches him again. And the third time's a charm. He comes back, vampire faced, and just bites her neck in the most sexual fashion possible.
I predicted that we were going to get something like this last episode. Because they love to do this in vampire stuff where the biting is sex and leads to orgasm. And that's exactly what we get.
Yeah, dude. It is like a long, drawn out, sweeping camera spinning around. And Buffy is like,
She's like crushing. Like, I thought she was grabbing the metal thing to like hit him off of her.
That's what I thought.
And she just crushes it.
Yeah, she kicks a table.
It just splits in half.
It just like explodes, dude.
They're just like moaning. It's like, yeah. If you're a teen girl watching this is like.
Oh, if you're a teen boy, if you're an adult man watching this.
This is fantasy at its peak.
Man. Yeah, because at one point while he's feeding on her, Buffy's like, okay. I feel like she's like, okay, are you good? Is that enough?
He's like, it'll kill you. Not if you don't take all of it. I'm like, do vampires drain people down to the nub? Like, do they? Are they just like completely empty? Like, where does it all go?
Yeah, man.
It's the same size. I guess demon magic.
Well, we speculated in the last episode of like, do they need to drink all of their blood? And Buffy is like, you don't need to drink all of my blood, like right before this. She's like, you can just leave just enough for me to survive.
That vampire in that episode was just going to have a little taste of Willow. You know? Darla only had a taste of the mom.
Yeah. So after Buffy kicks the table and explodes, Angel's like, oh, I guess this is my hint to stop doing this. And he gets off of her and he's back to normal Angel face. He's like, whoo, I feel fucking like $1 million right now. Okay. And he looks at Buffy and Buffy's like, he's like, oh, fuck, oh shit.
She just got the post-sex pass out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. She's smoking a cigarette. So she passes out. Angel rushes her to a hospital. He's got her in his arms. He's like, hey, we need a blood transfusion. We need her. This girl, she got bit by something. And the doctor's like, what happened? He's like, she got bit by something. And the doctor's like, what do you think she needs? Are you guys, what happened? And then Angel's holding a door handle. He just rips it off the door. And then the doctor goes, are you two on drugs? And Angel's like, no, fucking just help this lady.
No, she's clean.
She's clean. Trust me, I tasted her blood. I mean,
the doctor's like, this is one of those normal neck wounds that we see all the time.
Yeah, one of those neck contusions or whatever.
Yeah. Something bitter. Yeah, it's like she's not covered in any blood at all.
Yeah, I love that he's like, well, what bitter? And he's like, I don't know, something.
Some animal, some awful, beautiful creature.
Some super hot fucking animal.
Yeah.
I don't know. One that feels like $1 million fucking bucks right now, actually.
And that's what we were saying last episode. It's like the passage says, drink the blood of a slayer. It didn't say like, have like all of it.
You can have a thimble.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. But, yeah, so then the doctor kicks Angel out and he's like, you got a phone? Can I call somebody? He's like, yeah, out in the hallway. And I got to have a Joe's Fashion Corner moment here. Doctor looks like... No.
I was about to say, I have a Vance logic question here. When he goes to this telephone, he walks past a hospital security guard.
Yes.
That security guard doesn't do anything when he snaps the door handle and the doctor's yelling about drugs.
Yeah.
And he does nothing later.
Well, they also like focus on the security guard super hard.
You can to make see him standing there.
Yeah, and he's suspiciously, he like looks at Angel like he's suspicious of Angel. And you're like, oh, is the security guard going to play into something here? And Angel...
He had plenty of opportunities to step in and do a job. Is he still standing there for these next scenes?
I think so.
Like, I'm like, how did you not step into the room? We'll talk about these scenes, but I was just like, why even show that there's a security guard there?
Yeah, I mean, and they focus on it to make it seem like he's going to be something.
He's not an extra in the background. He's standing against the wall next to the telephone.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shit that goes down that the security guard needs to...
Right?
But Angel goes to the phone to make a phone call. But the shirt that Angel's wearing in this scene is fucking so awful. It's a long, Angel's in his like all black attire, right? He's got a long sleeve black shirt, but down like the shoulders and the side, like just like across his nipples, there's like these gold sparkles on it.
Dude, he's feeling frisky, man.
It looks so frisky, weird, and I hated everything about it. It just bugged me.
Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to judge Angel's fashion.
Yeah. So Angel's making a phone call, and the camera pans from Buffy's room past the security guard, past Angel, who's now on the phone, and this is all within probably 10 feet.
Yeah.
Goes into the next hospital room where the mayor is getting the lowdown on Faith, and Faith is in a coma in the room next door. And they're like, all the trauma, like, she could survive. She lost a lot of blood, but I think this head trauma and the falling from the building, she's not going to wake up, and the chances of her survival are pretty slim, and the chances of her ever waking up are even slimmer.
I have another thing that's really weird. I'll bring it up in the next scene because it matters here, but I'll bring it up in the next scene. Yeah.
And so the mayor is looking at Faith, and Faith is busted up, dude. She looks bad. And he's looking, the mayor's all sad, and he goes up to her and he like caresses her head, and her face is like, this can't be. This was supposed to be your big day. No, it wasn't.
I'm really confused how it was going to be her big day.
Yeah. I don't understand at all.
Like, it's like, you've been playing this for 100 years. You met her 2 months ago.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's like, this is supposed to be your big day. And as he's looking at her all sadly, the nurse and a doctor talk loudly about the girl in the next room. Really, she lost a lot of blood. And it looks like she got bit on the neck. And it looks like something real bad happened to her. We need to do something about it real quick.
It looks like she was fighting some girl, like to the point where she could have put her in a coma. And
yeah. It looks like she may have stabbed somebody just based on. And the mayor like looks up and he has the realization like, right over in the next fucking room is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And she did this to my faith, and I'm going to go handle this.
This might be the most terrified I've ever been for Buffy.
Yeah, dude.
Like, when he's slowly walking from that room to her room, I'm like, you know that she survives because it's the show, but like, the tension of like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's also just a slow walk, and the look of determination and just... You know, he's dealing with a bunch of complex emotions. He's got all this sadness because of faith, and he's got anger because he knows Buffy did this, and the realization that Buffy's like fucking 6 feet away from where he's standing.
Yeah.
Just the determination on his faith, like, I'm going to fucking kill her right now. I'm going to go over and do it. So he walks over to Buffy's room, and Buffy's unconscious, and he just puts his hand over her mouth and, like, I guess to choke her or something.
He's smothering her with her hand, but because it's TV, he's not covering her nose up.
Yeah,
because it's a real act. Because it's like, you know, he really couldn't do it, and they're just not even gonna risk it, I guess. But
so
I thought, I mean, because I figured I don't know how strong he is. I know he's invincible, but I was like, man, is he gonna just try to snap her neck really quick? Because that would be the way to do it.
That's what I was super confused about. I was like, how strong is the mayor? Yeah. Like, we know that he's invulnerable. We know, like, what's going on with him.
But I think he wants to feel the life drain out of her because he's an evil monster. And she hurt his girl, who I thought, when he said they healed pretty well, pretty fast. I thought the coma thing might, like, resolve itself.
That's what I thought,
I'm sure the Watchers could save Faith.
Yeah, no, they can't. The Watchers can't do shit.
Dude, they have a magic potion that can take away Buffy's powers. I'm sure they could have injected some magic in her brain to like stop the swelling. like we just watched Angel drink someone and solve like a problem. Like yeah.
But he is like standing above Buffy with just malice, dude. Just and her face starts. Her face starts moving. He's like shaking her face because he's so angry. And then a nurse comes up from behind. She's like, "Stop it! Stop it!" And then she just grabs him and she's pulling him off. And then he just like kind of shoves her away.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, where's the security guard, dude?
1, where's the security guard? 2, the nurse is like, sir, he's the mayor of this small town.
That's exactly what the next note in my notebook says. Does no one recognize the mayor at all?
The mayor comes into the hospital with a comatose girl.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, why is the mayor bringing her in?
Yeah. Nobody asks questions about that. Like, you can't just go into anyone's hospital room if you're not family.
Yeah, you can just walk into a hospital room. They're not really that. There's no security in a hospital. There's no security. There's security, but like if you've been in the hospitals, you can just walk around hospitals. Like you can open a door and walk in.
But not like the ER like that, like where they're like, there's all kinds of beeps and there's doctors rushing all around. That stuff is
just like open rooms. Like those rooms were open.
They were very
like,
open.
Yeah, no, this like you can like there's not like a lot of security unless that's like a criminal that's there and they have a guard posted outside of the door. Like you can walk into there's people aren't going into hospitals just to do that often, you know? Like you can just literally walk into a hospital.
You know what? That'll be a Patreon exclusive video. I'm gonna go walk in the hospitals and see.
Well, we have a resident nurse on our Discord. You know.
Oh, so. We do. But yeah, he's choking, and the nurse is like, "Sir, get off! Sir, get off!"
Sir, person I've never seen before in my life
doesn't yell security.
Security guard hasn't moved.
Security guard is posted up right outside.
He's like, my job is to watch this telephone. That's what you paid me for. No one's stealing quarters. No one's banging the receiver.
If anyone uses this telephone, I'm gonna look at them because nobody fucking uses it.
Hey, 5 minutes. You only keep it moving.
And then so he shoves the nurse off of himself, and he's determined to kill Buffy. Mm-hmm. And then Angel shows up and pulls the mayor off and just flings him and chucks him and breaks a window.
Well, they like fall into like the corner. It's so good. Like it's really heavy.
Yeah. And then the mayor stands up and he's like, "You motherfucker, how you fucking did to my faith." And then Angel's like, "Yeah, you're going to get away from her. We're going to stop you." And he's like, "Look what you and your whore did to my faith." And I was like, whoa. And then Angel shoves the fuck out of him after he calls Buffy a whore.
It's a great moment where you have to... I just would love to stay in the hospital and hear the nurses talking about this. Oh my God, did you see that he came in here with this young girl? And he's like, they call on. Yeah. The gossip in that hospital afterwards.
Yeah, and also even after Angel shoves him and like there's all this loud clattering, stuff falling and breaking. Security guard nowhere to be found.
Like, at least just have him peek in. Like, or something. Right? Like, I don't know why.
He said, the mayor's like, "You're going to be in a fucking world of pain. You know what? I can be cool." After he gets up, he's like, "You know what? I can be cool. Everybody, calm down. We're all good here." And then he looks at Angel's like, "Just stay tuned. Stay tuned for the second act. Because this shit's about to get real when I ascend." He dusts himself off and he walks out into a crowded hospital hallway, and no one recognizes this mayor at all.
The mayor walks through with no security, no like aides with him. Like He has not replaced that guy that Faith killed. Also, Faith killed someone that he really liked. Yeah. And she killed Mr. Trick. And he's like, "No, Faith, you are the one."
I guess Faith proved that she's the alpha.
Yeah, if you just kill your way to the top. He's like, "That's what I've been waiting for."
Yeah, she instead of like, sleeping your way to it, she killed her way to the top. She's just like, "There's nobody else except for me, man." You know, you want a good security guard.
And good on Faith for, we talk about the youth not applying themselves and trying to find work. And Faith just was like, "You know what? I need a job." You have an open.
You have a job. Stab. All right. Now I got your job.
Can I see your resume? Stab, stab, stab. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever strangled? Oh, okay.
She's a good go-getter. Will you kill people without asking any questions? Yeah. That's my MO. So the mayor leaves. The gang arrives at the hospital. And Angel's like, "Oh, she's here. She's still unconscious." And then they're like, "Oh, what happened? Why is she unconscious?" And then Angel's like, "She cured me." And Giles was like, "You mean you fed off of her?" And Angel's like, "Yeah, well, she made me. She punched me 3 times." And,
What I wanted to bring up is like later when Angel's fighting, it doesn't seem like he's in vampire face and he's fighting an army.
Well, it doesn't seem like he's in vampire face because you plainly see his stunt double's face.
Put him in vampire. I wouldn't want to be in vampire face at the end either, the way things went down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so Giles is like, "So you fed off of her?" And Angel's like, "Yeah." And then Xander's like, "Oh, good to know that when the chips are down and shit's hitting the fan, you're just gonna feed off of Buffy to save your own ass." And Angel looks at him like, "Dude, come on."
He's like, he says, "Feed off the one girl who loves you," or something that. Yeah. Just like Xander. I love Xander's antagonism towards Angel because I think it's warranted.
It's warranted, and it's
and
logical.
Before it was like jealous. Before it was jealousy, but now it's like he saved some lives and he's hurt some lives.
It's still a little bit of jealousy.
It's still
I feel
jealousy,
like, but it's also like dude, shit's about to go down and you're feeding off of the vampire slayer right now? Like, dude.
It's also, he's Team Buffy, not Team Angel. You know?
True.
And
Yeah.
if you mess with his friends, that's it.
Yeah. Very fair. And then so Giles is like, Angel, thanks for calling us. Thanks for letting us know what happened. But I think you should leave. And Angel's like, oh, I want to fucking leave. And then Giles is like, the sun's about to come up. Get out of here.
He said that so loud.
Yeah.
And everyone in the hospital should be like, vampire. Wait, did you see the sun's up and that girl has 2 puncture wounds in her neck?
And so Angel's like a little scolded puppy dog walking with his tail between his legs. He's like, okay, I'll leave. So Angel leaves. And then we go over to Buffy, and then we have one of these. This was very weird. What happens next?
It's very weird. The biggest fear I had when I heard that Faith was in a coma was that she was going to come out of the coma and forget everything and kind of revert back to being like good Slayer type person.
Like have amnesia type of thing?
Yeah, and I was like, if they do this, I might just check out. I hate that so much. Like,
do you like this better?
I like that this ended. Because I also am not a fan of these dream sequences that they do. When they try to get when they try to get artsy and it's not artsy and abstract, like that doesn't work for me in general for a lot of like types of things. But when it works really well and it's crafted that way, it's great. This is just like, here's some stuff that you didn't know could happen.
Yeah, I was very confused about what exactly did happen in this.
Why is there a cat?
Yeah. So okay. So what
happens? I feel like Discord is going to be jumping with like we're going to hear so much about what this actually means and the metaphor because we're not going to be able to give it.
Yeah. So Buffy goes on a vision quest while she's unconscious, and her vision quest involves Faith as well. And Buffy is in Faith's apartment, and all of this stuff is packed up in boxes. Mm-hmm. And there's a cat roaming around, which we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And Buffy starts talking to her vision of Faith. And they're talking about like, wow, can't really believe... They're speaking in the most vague terms possible.
Like, they're speaking really like they're friends, too.
Yeah. They're like, can't believe this is all happening, huh? And they're like, yeah, you know, it's so weird. And this cat's jumping around. And then Buffy goes, well, who's going to take care of the cat? And then Faith says something like, all these things have a way of sorting themselves out. And then the cat is on the bed. And then there's a flash of the cat. And the cat turns into Faith's unconscious body.
Yeah, I went back and rewatched that. Just
Same,
to make
and
sure.
I paused it exactly when it changed.
I didn't pause, but it was like it just looked like her unconscious body.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get that flash because we're also seeing Faith next to the cat.
Exactly. I didn't understand what was going on there.
Like, why not just have Faith flash to the unconscious body?
Yep.
I don't know why they introduced the cat.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
So then they speak in some more vagaries, and Faith's like, you know, these things have a way of sorting themselves out, and you know, we finally did it, and I think I'm ready, and blah, blah, blah. And then Buffy looks down at her hands, and there's the flash of the bloody Faith knife in her hands. And then Buffy looks up, and she's like, well, what are we going to do with all of this stuff? And Faith is like, you can have it. Have it. Take it. And then we get the... like white out flashback to reality.
Well, there's a major thing in here that she talks about humanity, and
yes.
That's a key point of like he still has his humanity or some
human weakness never goes away.
Yeah,
even if he's invulnerable, his human weakness never goes away.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like Faith transferred all of her knowledge about the mayor to Buffy's brain, because Buffy also is like, am I in my head or are we in your head right now? And Faith is like, who knows?
Classic Faith. Oh my God, Faith, I hate you. It's funny because they play it like Buffy and Faith are like great friends.
Yeah,
Even
like
though they
this
had
is
like
a closing.
they had the first half of Bad Girls where they were cool, and then the second half where they were like, oh my god, this is the worst person ever. I feel like the actors themselves are like good friends, and it's like it feels like more of a send off for the actor than it does for the character. If you know what I mean. That's always my problem with certain finales, where you can see the like crew and the cast, and they're like, oh, we're not going to be together anymore. But I'm like, that character doesn't think that they're not going to exist further. But yeah.
But am I right? Did it seem like to you like Faith was transferring her memories and knowledge to Buffy?
I didn't specifically think memories and knowledge, but I did write down, did they just combine?
That's what I think that I mentioned something like that in episodes previously about like that's how they get rid of having two Slayers, is that they combine somehow.
We did mention like I think we were talking about her outfit and like why she dresses like Faith, and we're like, oh, maybe it's because they like somehow morph into the same person, and that's why she takes the outfit. But she changed into that outfit before any of this happened.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, like, so I was also like, is there going to be a new Slayer? Or are there going to be 4 more Slayers? Because like Buffy is kind of dead. Like how dead does Buffy have to be for there to be a new Slayer?
Well, I think this is a clever way to get rid of the 2 Slayer thing, to just have Faith in an unwakeable coma. And I was like, oh, you motherfuckers.
But unwakeable forever.
Yeah.
But I think she dies. Or is she still in a coma then?
We don't really get a lot of answers about that, because after this transfer of consciousness,
for some reason, I thought that she was dead when the transfer happened, but I guess maybe not.
Maybe that was her dying and passing her knowledge on to Buffy or something. Maybe, I don't know. But this was a very trippy and weird scene. So after that happens, after Buffy receives Faith's gift of whatever, she wakes up, and then she walks over to Faith's unconscious body, gives it a good old smooch on the forehead. I guess she's like forgiving her for all of the evil that she's done, because now she understands where Faith was coming from and whatever in this like mind trip. And she puts on her leather outfit, walks into the hallway, and the gang is like, Buffy, you're awake, you're alive.
I wish the kiss on the forehead was a straight callback to when Faith kissed her and ran away after that scene, but I don't think it was. I think it's just like,
it might have been, but it wasn't executed properly.
I think it was just like, all right, I just like, why do you like, I don't understand the reverence that they give Faith. Faith has been a monster.
Dude, especially lately. Like, she turned on people. Last episode was the worst.
That was
like,
the breaking point for me,
She just kills that professor with no remorse, no questions asked. Just like, I don't know, I just want to fucking kill you.
And they made this guy seem like the nicest dude ever. And he didn't.
The professor? No, it seemed like he was trying to mac on her.
Well, he was confused, but he was just like, I live by myself. Like, he didn't know what this mayor sent this girl over for.
No. He wasn't. He raised his eyebrows and was like, I lived that bachelor life.
He said bachelor life, and then follows it up with like, I like being alone by myself. He doesn't go fully creepster level. I don't think he goes creepster level to where like, oh, he deserves to get stabbed to death.
Well, that's true. I think that he went creepster level of like, I'm throwing this subtle hint out there, and if you bite,
she's like,
I'll
are
go
you
full creep
here alone? And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, he doesn't like, yeah, I'm alone. My bedroom's back there. Like, he's like, this seems shady.
But yeah, so Buffy walks out in the hallway. The gang's like, oh my God, Buffy, you're alive. You're better. How are you feeling? And she's like, I'm a Slayer, man. I heal pretty fast. And they're like, well, the Ascension's supposed to happen today. Like, what do we do? And Buffy's like, I'm feeling ready. I'm ready for war.
I was like, okay. You don't have a plan. Angel's fine. And you're like, okay, Angel's fine. Okay, we can get back to this.
So then we go over to where the graduation's happening. Snyder's setting everything up all by his lonesome. He's getting all the preparations together.
You know, like when the principal sets up graduation by himself.
Yeah. Yep. And then we get the gang in the library, and Buffy has got a plan. And it's a very vague plan. And everyone's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this plan's going to work. It seems a little crazy. And Cordelia's like, yeah, this is fucking absolutely insane. I've never heard a crazier plan. And then Oz goes, we can attack the mayor with hummus. And Cordelia's like, what? And I was like, I'm just saying, it can get crazier.
I'm just keeping it in perspective. It's like, all right.
Yeah. So Buffy is laying out her vague plan, and she's like, Xander.
What if they attacked him with hummus at the end and it worked?
That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny.
That would be so good. He just slips on like some hummus in the hallway or something.
I honestly thought that like
That'd be amazing.
there was going to be all this buildup, and they were just going to be able to kill him super quickly, and then be like, oh, that was it.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But so she's like, all right, here's the plan. Xander, you are a key figure in this plan. I really need your help. You are the fucking point man for this. And Xander's like, I'm the point man. I'm important. I'm not just like going to be in the way. And Buffy's like, no, you really are important for this plan.
This is his whole series, this season arc for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Buffy's like, all right, here's what I need from you, Xander. Do you remember any of your military training from when you were soldier guy? And I was like, oh, if you had only said military guy.
Yeah, if she said military guy, we would have lost it. But honestly, to our credit, they referenced something that we were just joking about.
Yeah.
Since the Halloween episode. And,
yeah,
you know, it's October now. Go back, listen to the Halloween episode, watch that one. That's a rewatch for every Halloween, I think. It's a great episode. Yeah. But military guy is back.
Yeah. Buffy is like, you remember any of your training? And we were always speculating about like, how much does he remember?
He always says he does.
Yeah. So he's like, oh yeah, what do you need? You need a fucking rocket launcher? I know how to do that shit. And Buffy's like, not this time actually. But yeah, we need your military guy training.
Yeah.
And Xander's like, all right, good to know. And then they're talking about, well, how do we know what the mayor's weakness is? And Buffy's like, I was told.
Wait, this is before. I think they say, Angel, you spent the most time with him.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Angel, you spent the most time with him. Does he seem to have any weaknesses? And he's like, well, he doesn't like germs.
Yeah. And Buffy.
And then
Buffy,
this is the age of. The age of the Ebola virus scare. So Cordelia's like, we could get a whole thing of Ebola virus and like throw it on him. But it doesn't have to be Ebola virus. It could just be a box that just says Ebola on it.
And chase him around.
And then Xander's like, I am kind of liking the hummus idea a little better.
And then I was like, I'm just saying, it might work. So Buffy's like, well, I was told that his weakness is his humanity and his human weaknesses. And then everyone's like, how do you know that? Who told you that? And then Buffy's like, Faith told me that in a vision quest.
They're like, Faith told you that? When? Like, in the hospital. What? Like,
yeah.
You're like, at this point, you're just like, sure. Buffy said it's gospel.
Yep. So then Angel's like, if we're talking about his human weaknesses, I saw him in the hospital and he was beside himself with Faith. He was so upset when he saw Faith's unconscious body. His weakness is Faith. We can use that against him. Like, that's a little fucking harsh.
I didn't know how they were going to. I mean, it's fine. It's not that. I didn't know how they were going to use Faith. I didn't know if they were going to roll her through on a gurney.
Weekend at Birdie style.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Mayor, I'm here. I'm in my dress. Like, they put her in that dress and just twirl her around.
Like a marionette.
Yeah. They're dancing together, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm on fire. Like, there's so many. This episode is the most campy episode of the season, I feel like.
As I was in the middle of watching this, I texted Vince, I was like, this episode is incredibly silly.
What point were you in the episode when you texted me that?
At the big showdown in the end.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were at the beginning when she's slapping him and saying, bite me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right.
But yeah, so they're going to figure out a way to use Faith as his weakness. And as they're discussing this plan, Wesley shows up and he's like, what can I do? I want to help. And then Buffy's like, I thought you fucking watched. You said you weren't going to help me. I'm not taking any
orders from you. I quit the council. I put in my notice in 2 weeks.
And then Wesley's like, look, I'm not here on behalf of the council. I don't give a fuck about the council anymore. I just want to help you. Is there anything I can do? And then Buffy's like, actually, yes, there is some stuff that you can do. And Cordelia's like, isn't this fucking guy so classy? Isn't he so nice?
Dude, I was so confused with Wesley and Cordelia's relationship at the beginning of this episode. She's like, I was just on the phone with Wesley. I'm like, do you guys call and talk all the time? Like,
apparently.
What is their relationship?
Well, yeah, I mean, they were dancing at prom and they're all snuggly. So I guess maybe he called her to be like, I'm out of town.
Yeah. I don't know. But Wesley was done dirty this episode.
Absolutely he was.
In a way where I'm like, why do it this way? Like, this is a really good opportunity to like kind of give him a little redemption arc.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping for, and they just do not do that. They don't give him anything.
They bury this dude like they hate him.
Yeah.
And granted, we have not been rooting for Wesley throughout all this, but just the storytelling arcs are usually like, all right, he's going to come back and totally redeem himself.
He's going to do something, like even if it's a little thing.
Even if it's stupid and you're like, I still don't like you. That was a weird way.
Yeah.
But, man.
Yeah, they really did do him pretty dirty in this one, but he is a creep.
I would argue, a little spoilers for the end, I would argue that he should have died and someone else should have lived.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Just logistically.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I am very upset about what happened later.
Yep.
So, after Cordelia talks about how classy Wesley is, we have a montage of, the mayor laying out his plan to his gang of vampires. And he's like, we're going to do here. We're going to flank the students running, and you're going to be in the sewers, and you won't have to worry about the sun because the sun won't be a problem during the Ascension. And then we cut back to Wesley reading about the Ascension, and there's going to be an eclipse, and day is going to become night.
They've been planning this shit for so long. And this is the first time they've read that passage.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what have they been doing? Like, I get it because you want to just explain to the audience that the sun won't be there. But they had to be like, hey, I'm reading this. I just discovered. And Angel's like, oh, I'm back in the game.
Yeah, Angel's like, so that means I'm back in it. And they're like, yep, you're back in it, Angel. And then Buffy's like, all right, cool.
Isn't it daytime now?
It is.
Like, honestly, leaving the school.
Well, dude, they yell at him to leave the hospital because like it's almost daytime, but he's walking around during the day. When does he sleep, dude? Like, this poor guy.
Dude, he's full of Buffy blood, man. He can go for days.
You know what? That is like a fucking juice. That's like his coffee. He's like, I'm fucking ready to go.
And Buffy gets pumped up whenever she gets bitten by like vampires. Like the master bit her, and she was unstoppable. Yeah. It's like she got a Mario star.
So now that Angel's like, I'm back in the game, Buffy's like, great, you are going to be back in the game, and I'm going to need to work closely with my boy Xander here. And Xander's like, just to be clear, I am still the integral part of this, right? And then Buffy's like, yes, you are. We need your military guy training. And then Xander's like, all right, Angel, you're number 2 in command. You listen to me, you piece of shit. I'm more important than you are. And Angel's like, oh, God, you're such a douchebag, dude.
Slapping him. Straighten up private.
Yeah.
That would be great if he did that.
So then we go back to the mayor, and the mayor is like, all right, so once all this Ascension stuff happens, the students and all the people in the audience are going to obviously flee. They're going to be running around like chickens with their heads cut off. I need you to stop them because I need to feed on some of these students in order to make the Ascension happen. So don't fucking feed on these students. You can kill them, but don't feed on them. And the vampire's like, yes, sir. So then Buffy and Willow and Oz are reading about, the last time that there was a gigantic Ascension demon. The way that it was destroyed was with a volcano. So we need to find some way to mimic a volcano.
How did the volcano kill the demon? Like, I know they said they found it in a volcano, but there's no way the demon was just like, oh crap, a volcano. Like,
yeah.
Volcanoes aren't...
This is just one of those things that you just have to accept, So they're like, we need to find a way to like mimic and recreate a volcano. And Willow's like, I'm on it.
Sunnydale was built on a volcano.
Yeah.
It's a helm on a volcano.
Dude.
On a fault line.
Yeah, this city is built on every bad thing. Somehow in Tornado Alley, too.
Yeah.
And then Buffy's like, all right, we're going to need to gather weapons. And we need all the weapons. And he's like, Giles is on it. He's like, we're going to need more than what Giles has.
Where does Giles get these weapons?
No idea.
They don't have the Watchers' deep coffers or whatever. If the Watchers are rich, I don't know.
Yeah. So then we go back to the mayor, and the mayor is laying out his plan. He's like, all right, and if all of this goes to plan, we're going to be victorious, and I will be doing the Ascension. And all the vampires are like, all right, break. And then the mayor goes, and boys, please watch the swearing.
just lovely. Just lovely.
Yeah, it was very funny. So Xander is now on his mission. He goes and he grabs some blonde girl. I think it's the girl that was signing Willow's yearbook in the last episode.
So if that's her from the last episode, she is one of the Cordettes.
Yeah,
but
she
this
must
one,
be
this
one
one,
of the Cordettes.
this is the one that really ripped into Cordelia for dating. She's the one that did the big lug with Jonathan. Like, she's that one. But I don't think that other one was that. But whatever, it doesn't matter.
So Xander goes and he grabs her and he's like, hey, we need to talk. I need to talk to you about something. Then we go over to Willow, and Willow grabs Percy West. She's like, Percy, I need to talk to you about something. We need to talk. So after this, we go to Cordelia and Wesley in the stacks in the library. And Wesley is like, so, after this whole Ascension thing, if we're victorious, I'm going to go back to England. And Cordelia's like, yeah, that's such a fucking bummer, dude. And Wesley's like, there's just no reason for me to stay in Sunnydale. And then Cordelia's like, yeah, I guess there isn't a reason. Like, yeah, I guess I'm not wanted here, or I'm not needed here. And then they turn to each other and they start walking closer and closer to each other. And Cordelia's like, yeah, not needed. Wesley's like, or wanted here. Cordelia goes, yeah, not wanted. And at this point, they're like embraced. And then, as you would expect, we get the long-awaited dramatic kiss. But this kiss is so awkward. And Wesley's body is contorted in such an awkward, stiff way.
It's as if he doesn't want the privates to touch. It's like that kind of, it's like where they're like leaning butt out and they're like leaning face forward, and like it looks snotty, like they're missing the mouth and getting the nose, and it stops.
It stops because
and then it starts again.
Well, it's awkward as fuck. And Cordelia and Wesley pull apart, and they look like, let's give that another go. Yeah. Because we fucked up that first one.
Yeah.
Let's do this again. And then so they kiss again, and it's just as awkward, maybe even more so.
Yeah.
And then they pull apart again, and they look at each other like, oh, wow, we've got no chemistry at all. Yeah. We've been waiting to do this for forever, and now that we've done it, I am just utterly disgusted by you. And then Cordelia pats his shoulders. She's like, well, have fun in England. And then Wesley's like, yeah, I'll give you a ring or something sometime if you're ever in town. And I was like, this is such a perfect, amazing way to end this relationship.
It's funny, but I felt really bad because it wasn't one of those things where it's no chemistry between Cordelia and Wesley and it's equal problem. It felt like it was all Wesley.
Well, it seemed like Wesley had never kissed a woman before.
Exactly.
And Cordelia really like, what the dude, really?
And I'm just like, Wesley is this? Like, it's fine because Wesley is kind of a super loser.
Yeah, he's like the butt of a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
But
I couldn't help but feel bad for him of how bad this went. That's how, like, this is like you should just leave right now. You shouldn't even stick around for the Ascension. Like, you should just get out of town. Like,
well, I thought the same as you, where it was like embarrassing for Wesley. But when Cordelia was like, have fun in England, he seemed equally as like, yeah, let's just never bring this up again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if they wanted it to be like, oh, there's just no chemistry there, that's fine. But it's just hard because we've seen Cordelia with like Xander, and we know that she can like kiss. It's not like if it was him and Willow, who are married in real life, but like if they did it and you were like, oh yeah, Willow doesn't know how to kiss, he doesn't know how to kiss, that's fine, you know, like.
But just like the positioning of Wesley's body as he's kissing, he's like, ooh, his like shoulders are super high. His arm is like in the, like, it was so stiff and weird. And I just like the visual of it. Yeah.
It's crazy that he hadn't kissed at all at this point.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be like this big romantic moment. And it's just so awkward. Yeah. Dude, kissing a bad kisser is so painful.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just like when it happens, you're like, did no one teach you how to do this or something?
It definitely sucks if the person is hot and they're a bad kisser because no one tells them that because they stick around for it, you know?
Exactly, dude. And it's
then,
like, how do you tell somebody?
Or they get out of the relationship before that moment where you'd be like, hey, we need to practice this.
Yeah. Yeah. But the other thing is too, like, how do you bring up, like, you're a bad kisser, you know?
Yeah.
It's so like, no, let me show you how to, like, oh, no.
People would rather have you say, like, oh, you're a little fat or overweight than, like, say you're a bad kisser.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be so awkward to bring up, man.
And that's a tough thing, like, to practice kissing.
Yeah. Because it's like, you can't, it's one of those things where, like, I wish I could transfer consciousness to show you, like, how to do this. But you just can't do it. You just send that person back out into the world as a bad kisser. Like, I hope you find somebody that can deal with this.
Maybe they just have to meet another bad kisser, and those bad kissings just link up, and it's like a sine wave, you know?
In this ad for the Mobile One brand, I have 30 seconds to talk about driving, which might be what you're doing right now. Maybe you're in the car, you're free, you're in control, on an open road with an open calendar. Your mind is wandering, and you're going with it. Or maybe you're stuck at work, in meetings, or emails, or worse, meetings about emails. And if that's the case, there's only one question. Why? Mobile One, for the love of driving. Visit loveofdriving.us/radio to learn more.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Dude, you know what this Wesley and Cordelia kiss reminded me of? You remember that there was like some kind of reality show where it was like two virgins get married and they had both never kissed another person before. And this was their first kiss as they're like, I do. Now you may now kiss the bride. And then they had footage of them kissing for the first time. And it looked exactly like this.
That is crazy to be like, it's a lot of people that, a lot of child actors and like teen actors have their first kiss on screen because it's like you're acting and then there's like, oh, you're going to kiss this girl in school, right? But to be like that and just actually have your first kiss be on screen, like
as a part of a reality show.
Yeah.
Just like kind of mocking your virginity.
Yeah.
It's so shameful. Like, it's like
the lesson there is stay a virgin and wait for the right TV show, and you could be popular and famous.
Yeah, you can be a viral moment. For all the wrong reasons that you don't, you'll live in infamy.
So I felt a little bad for Wesley, and Wesley it just gets worse from here.
From here. I think actually at this moment is when I texted you, this episode is real silly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Wesley and Cordelia are donezo. So then we have Willow and Oz hooking up with our our boys Larry and Jonathan, and they're giving Larry and Jonathan a mission.
The dream team.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that they have folded these two into like this mission thing.
Yeah.
Like now they're a part of the gang, it seems like. They're an extension of the gang.
Yeah.
And they have like a shopping cart of well, no, they don't have a shopping cart, or do they?
It's like a hand cart or something.
Yeah, it's like a cart of like coal and it looks like explosives or something.
Yeah, it's explosive, but it looks like bags of cement or something. It's purposely vague, and they're like, "What do we do?" And they're like, "Just put it there and just relax." And they're like, and they can't relax. They're like, "Okay,
yes, sir." And they
and they're like,
they go off to go complete their mission and.
Because we've had the prom thing.
Yeah.
And we know Buffy is the class protector. And
we know that everybody knows
yeah,
shit's weird.
And at the end of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. Yeah. So Larry and Jonathan go off on their way to fulfill their part of this mission. Oz and Willow go into Oz's van and they're like, "Oh man, I'm really worried about this. Like, the Ascension's supposed to happen in just, a couple hours. I'm wondering if we can get through this. I'm really getting nervous, Oz." And Oz is like, "Hey." Well, Willow's like, "Do you think we can get through this?" And then Oz goes, "Hey, listen to my voice. Do you see how calm I am? Does that answer your question?" And Willow's like, "I think you're just being purposely vague, so it's comforting to me." And Oz is like, "Yeah, you kind of saw right through me here."
The moment is so great because they cut to Oz and he does this like slow blink and it's so perfect. It's like one of the best like acting editing moments because you just cut back to him. It's like, he just blinks and it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is like, I'm feeling their relationship more in the last couple episodes than I did throughout a little bit because they did have that Xander thing and because
they banged because they made Amy the witch watch them bang.
Well, he actually showed up and he's not on his band trips randomly and she's not like hooking up with Percy behind his back.
But Oz is now he's like, "Hey, we are going to get through this." And then they kiss, and it also was like, are they banging in the van now? Because it seemed kind of like they were banging in the van.
Oh, they were like, "How much time do we have for graduation?" Enough.
Yep. Enough time. So Buffy and Angel are in the library. They're gathering weapons, and Buffy's like, "This isn't going to be enough." And then Angel's like, "Don't worry about it. We're going to get them all the weapons we need." And so then they start gathering weapons silently and packing some stuff up. And Angel just turns to Buffy and he goes, "I'm not going to say goodbye."
I love that line. It's so good.
And Buffy's like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah. After this Ascension thing, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to say goodbye. Be too painful. And anyway, I'm just not going to say it." And then Buffy like raises her hand with like "I get it. You're not going to say goodbye." Okay.
I'm like, "Angel, timing, please." Like, yeah,
right.
You're going into battle. Like, let her focus.
He really has the worst timing. Dude.
Let her focus, man. like let her focus, man. You guys,
like, just you don't need to tell her that you're not going to say goodbye. Just fucking bail.
I love a line that she has at the end of this episode because it's so apt for what's happening. Yeah.
So Buffy's like, "All right, I get it. You're not going to say goodbye, dude. You're hurting my feelings, but whatever. Okay." And then Angel leaves and Buffy's all sad. And then she pulls out from her coat pocket, wrapped up in a little towel, the knife that was Faith's, that she stabbed Faith with. And she's like, "This is the key to success of this mission."
How did Angel not smell that and get real ornery?
Yeah, and just be like, "Hey, you mind if I lick that really quick?"
Just a little taste. I mean, maybe I need a little more Slayer blood for the fight.
I'm starting to feel a little weird again. Maybe I need to lick a little bit of that knife.
The craziest thing is they could have been like, "Man, Angel, you could have just come to the hospital and drink Faith's blood."
Dude, right?
He's like, "God, just so close."
Yeah. So now
that means that truck pulled over.
It did. Yeah, eventually we were talking about how like the truck just kept going, but eventually it had to stop.
He was like, I was halfway to Tucson and
I was like, what was that fucking loud bang that I heard 3.5 hours ago? Let me check that out.
He drove straight to the hospital. He's like, oh, another one fell in my car.
This is just what happens in Sunnydale.
Yeah.
So yeah, after Buffy pulls out the knife and being like, all right, here we go. I'm ready for war. We get the beginning of graduation and all of the students are sat in their seats. And I gotta say, this is a pretty small graduating class, it seems like, right?
I know it's a production. I know you got to get extras and stuff, but it was like the graduating class was there, but then it was like a small section of parents.
Yes.
And I don't know if people know this about parents, but usually there's 2 to 1 on average. And sometimes extended family members show up.
Yep. Dude, it legitimately looked like there was half the amount of parents and and people there than students. Because there was only, it looked to me, if I were to estimate, like 80 students. And then like
we want a diehard
else.
fan to count each and every student.
Give us the count.
We need exact numbers here.
But in my estimation, I'd say there was like 80 to 100 students and then 40 to 50 parents, sisters, brothers, other people.
Siblings, exactly, yeah.
In their own section.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is weird. But yeah, so graduation starting. Snyder is giving his opening remarks. And he's like...
Well, here's a question. Was your graduation outside?
No.
Yeah. I wonder if that's just more of a West Coast kind of thing.
I mean, even in the East Coast,
I think ours was outside, actually. But we had a really small...
One of my college...
My college was indoors. My high school was outside, actually.
One of my... So I had to go to like 2 graduations for college because I was a double major. And one of them was indoors.
Dude, like, can you...
Yeah,
you're just going to throw that?
Yeah,
just gonna throw
everybody listening to this podcast thinking that I'm stupid. Joke's on you. I double majored in communication and social psychology, okay?
So you are stupid?
Yeah. Vance, yes.
They're like, whoa, I didn't know you were that dumb.
My life's not going well. But one of them was outside and one of them was inside. My high school graduation was at, I think, a cathedral because it was a Catholic school or whatever. So it was indoors as well. But, you know, it could have been outside because it's warm out, even in Baltimore during May.
Yeah, I just realized mine was outside.
Yeah. But yeah, their graduation outside. Snyder is doing his opening remarks and he's, you know, doing his typical Snyder stuff of like, you know, you made it just because you're here. We're still going to act orderly. And as he's talking, he like looks at a student. I think he looks at Xander. He's like, spit out that gum. And then he looks at another student. He's like, sit up straight.
I think he says to spit out the gum to someone else, but they cut to Xander right afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And my favorite line that he has here is like, see me after graduation.
So then he's like, all right, without further ado, let's give it up for our commencement speaker, Mayor Richard Wilkins. And I was like, wow, this is really quick to get to the commencement speech.
I mean, I was like, yeah, let's do this. So because this Ascension has to be a thing. You built it up for half a season. So let's go.
So the mayor takes the stand and he begins his speech and he's like, you know, Sunnydale was founded 100 years ago and blah, blah, blah. You kids don't care about that because, you know, what's important here is you today. And you're the important and you don't give a shit about the history of this town. But there's this journey and you're all parts of the journey, blah, blah, blah. It's not about the destination. It's about the fun that you had on the way. And Willow is sitting next to Buffy and she's like, oh my God, is he actually going to go through and do this entire fucking speech? And Buffy's like, he really is evil.
Yeah, I love that.
So then we cut back to the mayor and he's like, you know, we all know that Sunnydale is a peculiar town and a lot of crazy stuff happens here. And it's just, you know, you've made it and there's been a lot of strife on the way. there are some, and then he looks directly at Buffy and he says, there are some people who aren't here that should be here. And Buffy's looking back at him like, yeah, fucking put your girl away, boy. She's in a fucking coma, bro.
Wouldn't you be on the lookout? Like, why is Buffy, who knows something bad's about to happen, just sitting still?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Like, he did not plan, except for them other people getting up and running from his. Like, now he's overconfident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's just also pissed. Like, he's I'm
pissed,
gonna
but
fucking get you.
But the whole time I'd be like, why is she not even like concerned? She's wearing her robe like she's actually going to graduate.
Right. So as the mayor, after he says that, the sun starts to get covered up in an eclipse. And then the mayor's continuing with his speech. And then every once in a while, he's like, Sunnydale, like, this is all about the destination you're going to ascend past high school. Ascend. This is about the Ascension. You're going to be going into college.
That's the plan. They spiked his food, and now he's got the runs.
Yeah,
he's got a poop.
Yeah. And he's like, and I just want to say that nothing after this moment will ever be the same.
And they keep cutting back to like Snyder and this other like teacher administrator behind them, and they're just like looking at each other.
Yeah, they're looking at him like, whoa, what's going on with the mayor?
And the kids are not flinching at all. That's what I noticed. And I'm like, really, guys? Yeah.
And then the mayor goes, oh, well, fuck it. This is happening a little bit before I planned it to happen, and this is happening a lot. This is a lot different than I had planned it, but it's happening, but we might as well get it over with. And I'm a little sad because I had this whole fucking part about civic duty and how important civic duty is. He's looking through like his cue cards. I was like, this is so fucking funny.
The fact that he's about to eat all of them, but he wants to still impart his like speech that he's been writing.
Yeah, he's like, well, I've been working on it for 100 years, so it better be good. You mentioned that earlier.
I think this is a time for me to bring up a question I had. Wouldn't you rather just be immortal and invincible instead of being the demon form that he ends up turning into?
Yes.
Like, I don't even understand what the benefit of ascending to a demon level is.
Yeah, they don't go into that. Like, because he's invulnerable, he's ageless, he keeps making like Faustian deals with demons to be young forever, or however old he is forever.
That's why Mr. Trick was so cool, because he was like, yeah, I'm a vampire, but I'm also like a weird hustler.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's so fun to watch. And this guy is that role too. Like, he's making deals with demons. He can't be destroyed, which makes him like amazing.
Yeah. But instead he wants to change into Ulvicon.
Yeah. And we're like,
but we don't understand why. What is the benefit of becoming this?
Like, what do you do? Like, what's your Tuesday like? What's your like?
So when he becomes Ulvicon, he just gets bigger, and as we see in 2 seconds, he turns into a gigantic snake that looks like the fucking Hydra from Hercules, the cartoon.
I was saying we're gonna get a CGI monster.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be similar to that snake that was in the that he gave an offering to.
Yeah.
That I think Buffy killed pretty easily. Was that a real demon?
Yeah, because we mentioned how Anya talks about how like pure demons are a lot bigger, and that one was pretty big.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a hybrid bastard.
No, I mean, he was giving offers to that. So yeah, she has fought a demon, Anya, who's not here.
She's halfway to Aruba by now.
Yeah, I literally expected her to show up.
Me too. I thought that she was going to show up and be like, all right, Xander, you've inspired me to,
she just does around. Some like Scarlet Witch force field powers or something.
Yeah. But now
I made a deal with the devil and I'm back.
Well, she's nowhere to be found though.
No.
But like when he becomes Ulvicon, like he gives up its greatest strength, which is invulnerability. And gains what?
And the ability to walk around and just walk amongst the people.
I don't know, man. But yeah, he transforms into a enormous snake, and all of the parents get up and run.
Yeah.
And then as they run, they're greeted by a horde of vampires cutting them off.
The amazing thing about the parents running, because I think the parents get away. The parents get away. I think the parents get away because they're not there for the fight.
Yeah.
It is kind of amazing that all of the parents bailed on their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like 100%. 100% fight or flight response.
Well, there was only like 25 parents there anyway,
Yeah.
so it's not like,
Okay, in their defense, maybe the kid said, hey, we know what's going on. Parents, get out of here. Don't come to the graduation. And the other ones that came were like, I don't care what you say. You're dumb. I'm going to your graduation.
Well, it's like I speculated last time where it was like, well, I don't want to go to the graduation. The parents are like, you're going.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's going to be a demon there. It's like, nah, demon schneeman.
There should be a
walking.
whole section of chairs that just aren't filled up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the parents all run. Vampires show up to like cut them off. But the students don't run at all. Which is where it's like,
when I was watching this, I was like, really? Are they that jaded in Sunnydale?
Right?
Like, I was like, they're so jaded. They see this giant thing and they're like, so are you going to finish the speech or?
Yeah.
Where do I just want to walk around stage.
And they, like one of them, like, what is this, the Bronze?
Yeah.
But they're all
After
standing.
party at the Bronze.
They're all standing. They're all looking up at the mayor becoming this giant demon snake. Mm-hmm. And Buffy screams, now! And then all of the students take off their robes and they all have weapons attached to them. They have these gigantic, axes and stakes and all kinds of shit.
Flamethrowers.
Dude, right? They got flamethrowers. They got bows and arrows. And so Larry and another guy have flamethrowers and they're like, attack the mayor. And Xander is like standing up and he is like the head honcho military guy, like barking orders at people.
Yeah,
which was a cool callback.
Yeah, I wrote down at one point, like, wait, that was Xander's plan, just to stand? I'm like, oh no, he organized the army and the positions and who would have what. And I was like, okay, that actually is really cool that he has that.
Yeah. So they start attacking the mayor with flamethrowers. And the mayor's like, fuck. And he's getting all flamed. And he's, falling back and stuff. And then Xander's like, all right, second wave now. And then it's a bunch of students with bows and arrows and they start shooting. And I gotta say, we saw how long it took Faith to master a bow and arrow.
Well, we didn't see. It was one day. It took her. She became an expert overnight.
So did these students in the matter of hours. Guys, bows and arrows are hard to do. And as we see, like these kids shooting these bows and arrows.
These aren't crossbows either. These are the ones that you have to pull back. And if you have never pulled back the tension of a bow, it is different. Yeah.
Well, if you watch the kids shooting the bows and arrows, they're just like, boing.
They all fall. Yeah. But this is where it gets super campy. And I kind of...
this is where silliness...
It's what it's supposed to be.
So as this is all happening, we get a shot of Snyder. And he's looking up at the snake and he goes... This is unacceptable. This isn't orderly. This isn't orderly at all.
This is simply unacceptable. It's such a good high school principal Ferris Bueller level of dude, what you stole? You stole.
You're still in principal mode.
Now I really don't get Principal Snyder at all.
I don't get it at all. We get none of our questions answered involving him at all.
He knows there's a hellmouth. What was the thing that he was supposed to get to? The mayor's like, you'll get what you're supposed to get. Was he just saying that and he was just going to eat him anyway?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the mayor also seems like a person that would stick to his word.
Yeah, and be good to the people that were good to him.
Good to him, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But then some students start to run. And they get killed by the vampires.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot of students would run once the mayor ate the first person. And they were like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, the mayor does eat somebody, chomps down. So some of the students run and they get cut off by the vampires. And then they start getting killed by some of the vampires. And then Oz and some other students on the backside of the kind of square that they have set up. Xander's like, all right, students in the back, it's your turn. And then so they have flaming arrows that they're shooting at these vampires. And the vampires are slowly slowly marching towards these children.
It looks like it's one of those scenes in, I can't even picture what, I've seen like this before, but I can't picture what it's from. But the way they're like walking in their leather jackets, all cool. It's like the cool kids coming into like, maybe it's that movie Cry Baby.
Oh, that movie's great.
With the greasers, and they're all just like walking to like fight each other, that kind of thing.
I liken it to like a Revolutionary War type movie where it's like everybody's in a line and they just, do that polite like, and fire, and you just wait to get shot.
Well, for me, it just has that like, here's a bunch of extras that we put in makeup and costumes, and here they go walking, like. So
these vampires are just walking towards their doom as Oz and all these students shoot their flaming arrows at them, and like 3 or 4 of them get turned into dust,
like straight up heart shots.
Yeah. And
so everybody knows vampires, demons exist, and they know how to beat them.
Yep.
Buffy's job is done. She can actually leave town.
Yeah, I mean, and like some of these kids, dude, they're successful at killing these vampires.
Yeah, you don't have to be a slayer to kill a vampire. It helps.
Not at all. But yeah, some of them, explode. And then the vampires look around and they see that some of their cohorts are getting killed. And then they start running like, oh, no. So they start falling back. And as they're running back, Angel, Wesley, and Percy show up with their gang of students. Yeah. And they've all got weapons. And they're like, we're here to fucking fight. You're not running from us, man. And Wesley's got a giant cross. And Percy's got, a weapon. And Angel's got a weapon. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. This is going to be sick. Mm-hmm. Wesley showed up with his giant cross. We'll get a little bit of redemption for Wesley. Mm-hmm. So then they start running toward these vampires. And Wesley immediately gets taken out with a clothesline.
Yep. And
falls to the ground. And he's like, oh!
And I was like, that is funny.
It was funny.
But
that's it.
He's done so dirty. The shot of him later while he's still on the ground and he's like, a little help, please, is just like, it's the Simpsons meme. Like, he's dead already. Stop.
Yeah.
He's like, stop hitting him.
Well, he ran into this battle with such determination on his face. His giant, he looks like, I'm going to fuck something up. He gets clotheslined and that's it for him. I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah. They
give him something.
It's like they introduced the person. They were like, we don't like him.
Yeah. I'm going to write this dickhead character.
I mean, they haven't treated Xander this bad.
I know, right? They give Xander some moments of heroic. Well, I mean, they gave Wesley some where he knows a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, this episode is just beating him to the ground.
Yeah, they bury him, man.
And they're not punishing. And it's not like they're punishing him for loving or wanting to hook up with a girl in high school. They're just punishing him for being him.
Yeah. So Wesley gets taken out immediately, and then we go to Larry with his flamethrower, and he's firing it at the demon, and then at the mayor, and his flamethrower goes out, and he starts like smack it, and then the worst CGI mayor tail goes and thrashes him, and the worst CGI Larry goes bouncing all around the screen. And then falls in the worst CGI fashion. I was like, what was that? Like, of all the bad dude, as all of the bad CGI that we've seen in this show, I think that like 2-second clip of him getting thrashed was the worst thing I've seen.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for Larry because Larry's a fucking G, dude.
And he's dead now.
You think he's dead?
I went to IMDb after watching this.
Mm-hmm.
He does not appear in any more episodes.
Oh, no.
Because I was like, did he die there? I mean, granted, they're graduating from high school, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think he's, I don't know.
That's a fucking bummer, dude.
It could be open to interpretation. He fell flat, and I was like, is he dead? Is he not?
Yeah, I didn't take it as he died.
I didn't take it as he died, but at first when I watched it, but then I was like, did he? Because I wasn't sure.
That'd be so sad if he died
because
there.
That Cordette is dead.
Oh, that Cordette is certainly dead.
Man.
She got chomped, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, Larry gets thrashed by this tail. And then we go to Snyder. And Snyder's looking up at the mayor again, and he is pissed. He goes, this is not orderly at all. He says, "You're on my campus, buddy. You fucking stop acting up." And then just gets chomped. Like he's the fucking lawyer in Jurassic Park sitting on the toilet.
It's funny because it's almost the same shot. It's like this high angle, him away from everything. Like he's by himself in the middle. And it's just like, Snyder, I love that you're just going to go out on your own terms. But like...
Well, we saw him be terrified of the mayor when he had a spider eat his face and then heal. Yeah. And he's got his like little defense mechanism. Like, you're not going to run and be scared of a gigantic demon?
I wanted him to have a moment where he like saves Buffy or Willow or something. I wanted him to have one of those ones where he's like, you kids aren't all that bad. Like,
yeah, dude, like, there's so many.
Just like a little moment where.
Yeah. So many characters.
Because his character, right, is a person that like wants the best for the school, overly like law and order, protective stuff. But like he would be against the mayor at this moment.
Yes.
And he would be on the kid's side of like, thank you for trying to save graduation or something. Just a little moment where it's like, because Snyder and Band Candy is fun.
Yeah.
And just a little moment of like Snyder being like, God, I had it all wrong.
Yeah.
Buffy Summers.
Yeah. There's some...
Just maybe a him and Buffy moment. Because Buffy's not doing anything during this at all.
Not at all.
She's just calling out orders to Xander, which is... She's like, Xander, tell him to do it now.
Yeah, just a little redundant.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice. I completely agree with you on that. Like, there's moments of redemption for all of these characters that have died. Like, Wesley had a moment of redemption.
And I'm saying, like, not every character needs a moment of redemption. I think Faith gets like all right, I died, but I gave you a little hint. Yeah. Or I'm in a coma and I gave you a little hint or whatever, you know. But it just needs something because Snyder has been around since School Hard.
Yeah.
And he's been the first person that we were like, oh my God, someone in town knows about the Hellmouth. And it just doesn't.
It doesn't get paid off. We don't get any of our questions answered about him at all. It's so frustrating.
Why was like, oh, don't tell the mayor. It's like, don't tell the mayor because you're afraid that the mayor is going to fire the principal of the high school?
Yeah. Like, but that's it. That's it for Principal Snyder.
R.I.P., man.
Yep. R.I.P. to GOAT. So Buffy then sees Snyder get eaten, and then she goes, "Everybody fall back." People are running all around at this point.
This is the moment she says fall back. The student got eaten, and she didn't give a fuck.
She did not give a shit at all about that student, dude. So everybody starts running. Angel's stunt double is fighting the shit out of all of these vampires. And the vampires are all of a sudden like, hey, wait a minute. Why are we... Go get some of the fucking kids. Let's go eat on some of the kids.
Yeah.
So the vampires start running away from Angel and they start running into the kids. And the kids stampede down these stairs on top of the vampires. And all of them have their weapons above their head, just shaking them, not attacking anybody. None of the vampires are attacking any of the kids. They're all just like trying to run through each other.
Yeah.
It's so...
is this the part where Xander's like, wait, no, like you're supposed to stay in the flank?
Well, yeah. Well, Jonathan tackles a vampire.
Yeah, which is a great shot.
Yeah, Jonathan is running down the stairs and just jumps and tackles a fucking vampire. Like, God damn, Jonathan.
How Jonathan isn't dead? Jonathan is suicidal, so he didn't fuck.
True.
He's like, I'm gone.
And after that, that's when Xander's like, Joan, Doug, you guys are the right flank. What are you doing? Yeah. Come on. And he's like in the middle of fighting a vampire.
Yeah. Like he's holding, he's shaking one. And this is the thing about vampires. Like high school kids can just shake one off.
Right? So then we go over to Cordelia, and Cordelia fucking stakes a vampire, blows it up. And I'm like, go Cordelia, dude.
Dude. Honestly, vampires aren't hard to kill.
Yeah.
If they sneak up on you, sure.
So we see her like, and then it turns to dust. Then we cut to Wesley on the ground. All this chaos is happening around him. And he goes, "A little help, please? Anyone? A little help?"
I'm like, just
fuck off, dude.
I would just like, be quiet, dude. The fact that you haven't died.
Play possum.
Like, we just watched that Cordette get her neck. Like, she's rushing in to fight. and she got her neck bitten. And you're just like lying on the ground.
Yeah. Keep calm.
We saw you fencing with Giles. You weren't great at it, but get a wooden pointy stick.
I think you mean a stake there, Vance.
No, like it needs to be longer than
okay.
Like
okay.
a fencing, like a something that you can use like a fencing thing, but like
needs to
be made out of wood.
A wooden lance.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's just laying there. A little help, please. Little help. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, dude. So then we have the showdown. We have Buffy with the mayor demon, and it's just Buffy and the demon. And Buffy looks up at the mayor and she goes, "Hey, big guy." She pulls out Faith's knife and she goes, "You looking for this?" The mayor's like, "No."
For him being a giant demon, I'm like, eat some more people, man. Like, just eat a whole row of people.
Yeah. Or just eat Buffy right now. Like, why are you waiting for her to conversate with you, you know?
Yeah.
So she takes out the knife and she's like, "This look familiar to you, demon?" And the demon's like, "Rah, rah." And Buffy's like, "Yeah, this is Faith's knife. And it felt real good when I plunged it into her gut. Went through her like butter." And then the demon's like,
then Buffy licks the knife.
Yeah. And then Buffy goes, "You want this knife back? Come and try and get it." And then she starts running. And it's like, this would be so easy for the demon to just chomp down and fucking eat her.
Like, because it's hard. We don't see the bottom of him. We don't know exactly how long. We don't know. Like, is he coming out of the ground? I guess he's just a long snake serpent type creature.
But he could cover so much ground with just its neck. Like he could catch Buffy before she even takes a step.
Yeah.
But instead, Buffy starts running all through Sunnydale High School. She's running through the quad. She's running through like these corridors, and the mayor is chasing her in his demon form, in his snake form. She runs into the school. The mayor busts through the window and he's chasing her. Buffy leads him to the library, runs into the library. The mayor busts into it, and she jumps up into the stacks, jumps out the window. And as soon as the mayor gets to the library, he sees that it is rigged with a bunch of explosives. And Buffy jumps out of the window to escape. The mayor looks around, sees all the explosives, and goes, "Well, gosh." Buffy meets up with Giles, who has the detonator. He detonates the bomb and blows up all of Sunnydale High School.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow,
wow, wow, wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Wow, wow, wow,
wow, wow, wow, wow, wow.
The well, gosh, your delivery of that line was spot on, because that's exactly how it said it. And I went back and put captions on because I didn't know exactly if he said well, gosh, or something else that's cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's amazing. like, what a way to go out.
And that is like very much a Whedonism right there.
Well, that's the mayor's personality too.
Well, I mean, Whedon does that in like all the Avengers movies that he directed and shit too. Like there's some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But the well, gosh, that's peak silliness.
Yeah.
Peak like this was supposed to be like the gigantic boss battle this whole season has been leading to, and it ended with the mayor. Well, gosh.
Well, the thing that got me is that the demon can still talk.
Right.
And has the same voice as the mayor.
Yes, just a little bit distorted. It is a little distorted.
A little distorted, but it's him. And I was like, interesting. So he could just have conversations with vampires later.
Yeah. Like when Buffy's like taunting him with the knife, he doesn't say anything. He's just like,
yeah.
Like, why didn't he say something like, "You bitch," or whatever? Oh, and Buffy calls him a dick because, you know, they got away with saying dick because his name is Richard. She's like, "You want this, dick?" And it's like, okay. And so the high school blows up. They're successful in defeating the mayor as Alvicon. All the students that are fighting the vampires look on as the school explodes into a bajillion pieces.
The vampires stop fighting too. It's a weird moment where it's like, that's very Marvel-esque, where you destroy the main villain and then all the other henchmen goons just fall over. Like, they're in the middle of fighting vampires. There's an explosion, and they all stop and go, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, the vampires could be like, all right, well, he's obviously dead, so I'm going to just start feasting now.
Well, they've been trying to escape this whole time.
Yeah.
But they won't let, the students won't let them leave. Like, so there's still no escape. And also, if I'm a student, I'm like, there's a lot of vampires in this town. Let's kill these dudes while we got a chance. Like, we're out here.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go to the Bronze tonight, there's like 25 vampires roaming around.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot. And it's like, that's just the vampires that are on the mayor's side, like in his payroll. Like, there's more, loads and loads more.
There's other vampires that either knew the Ascension was coming and left, or just like roaming around like, where's all Dennis?
Yeah.
Where's the food?
Where's Dennis?
This a holiday? Why is everything closed up?
Oh, it must be graduation day.
Dude, I'm roaming around the graveyard and nobody's straggling.
I don't see a Slayer in sight on patrol.
I don't see a Slayer or just some tasty morsel.
Nope. So, yeah, everything explodes. Then the cops arrive. This is all the fallout from the explosion. Cops, medics,
the SDNY,
ambulances.
the Sunnydale.
Yeah.
Sunnydale.
Wesley is on a stretcher, being stretchered out. And he's like, oh my God, this is terrible. Can I get a little bit of pain medication? I feel so, can I get a... They stretcher him out, put him in the back of an ambulance. And I think that's probably the last we see of Wesley.
He says like, could I just be knocked unconscious? Which is a nice little reference because Giles always gets knocked out, and I guess he doesn't get knocked out.
Yeah, I don't think Wesley ever has been knocked unconscious.
Yeah, so I thought that was a nice little subtle like reference of a watcher being like, it's so much better just be knocked out as opposed to be still feeling all the pain. I guess he got stomped. I guess he got stampeded on.
He had to have had something because all he did was get clotheslined, and it would be funny if that's all he received and that like made him be like, get me on a stretcher.
I'm going to say from stuff that I know that I don't think this is the last we see of Wesley.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So he gets stretchered out. And
stuff I know from the MDB. Yeah.
So after he's put into the ambulance, Buffy and Xander walk by and they're like, wow, what a fucking crazy night, huh? And then Xander just looks at Buffy and he goes, he survived. I think that he left after all of this, but he survived. I think I saw him leave. And Buffy looks up at Xander and she's like, thanks for letting me know that. And Xander's like, of course.
Did we mention that earlier when Angel leaves the hospital, Xander's like, I'm not going to miss that guy when he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Xander is like giving Buffy the comfort of like, hey, I know that he said he's not going to say goodbye, but I just want to let you know, like, I saw him. He's still alive. He left. Just know that in your heart. And Buffy's like, thanks, Xander.
And shed a tear for a couple of your classmates that died.
Yeah. So Xander then walks off and Giles shows up and Giles is like, oh man, what a crazy night, huh? Buffy, how are you feeling? Are you okay? And Buffy's like, there's a lot of shit that's going on. I'm still processing all of this shit that happened. I had a vision quest with Faith. I got dumped. My boyfriend just left. I fought a demon. We exploded in my high school. I'm still processing all this stuff. I can't think beyond demon dead, tree pretty, or whatever.
Yeah. That was the line that I was saying I really liked. There's like Buffy's acknowledgement that she's still processing.
Yeah.
Everything that happened, from like fighting Faith, having to have her blood sucked to save a vampire who just like, it's like,
let's go over everything that Buffy went through in the last day. Okay. Her boyfriend got shot with a poisoned arrow right in front of her. Mm-hmm. She finds out that the cure is the blood of a Slayer. So she decides to kill her former friend, Faith. She goes over, she tries to kill Faith. Faith
technically does, kind of.
Maybe
she gets a little leeway because it's like the fall killer is like,
stabs Faith in the gut with Faith's own knife. Watches Faith jump off the back of a building, realizing that she can't fucking save her boyfriend because there went her meal ticket.
That knife is bigger than Faith's whole midsection.
That knife is huge.
Yeah.
So then Buffy decides, well, the only way to do this is to have my boyfriend, who is a vampire, feed on me. She punches her boyfriend 3 times until he feeds on her. She has a fucking orgasm while he's feeding on her.
I don't recommend that for relationships.
Yeah, me neither. She passes out, goes to the hospital, goes on a vision quest with fucking Faith to reveal that, you know, Faith is a cat actually or whatever, and get all this knowledge about the mayor. She wakes up. She has a plan to destroy the mayor, who becomes an enormous snake-like demon. She taunts him with this fucking knife that she used to kill her friend. She runs through the high school, blows up the high school that she went to, that she, you know, in the last episode, she's like, I don't have any kind of nostalgia for this, but you obviously know she's got it. She watches it explode and she's kind of like, wow.
She probably has nostalgia for the library.
Yeah, she's got some memories going on there.
But it's about time they blew up that library.
Yeah.
It's on top of the Hell. It's like directly the opening of the Hellmouth. Yeah.
And now her boyfriend has left her without saying goodbye. And Giles comes up to her and is everything all right? And she's like, I've been through a lot in just the last day, Giles. Can you give me a second?
He's like, my role was pretty easy.
Yeah. Oh my God. But Giles is like, I completely understand. And, you know, isn't it a little bit ironic, though, all this dramatic irony? You know, we started all of our adventures here and, you know, it's quite. And then Buffy stops and she's like, Giles, what did I just fucking say, dude?
Yeah.
Tree, pretty, evil, bad, or whatever. I forget what the first part of it is.
Yeah.
And then Giles is like, okay. But I think I looked through the rubble and I actually found this. And he pulls out her diploma.
You know, it's not even hers. It's got to be someone else's.
Yeah, it's probably Percy West's or something. He knows she's not going to open it.
That's crazy if that's your like priority at the end. It's a cool moment, but man.
It is a nice like graduation day, like Ascension, whatever kind of moment. Yeah. And
it should be her it should be her official leaving the council papers.
Her walking papers.
Yeah.
But he gives it to her. He gives her diploma and he goes, here you go. I think you've earned it. And Buffy takes it and she's like, thanks, Giles. That's really nice of you. And then Giles is like, all right, I'm going to go check on Wesley, see if he's still whimpering. And he walks off. And then Buffy's just kind of looking. And she looks over to her left. And Angel is standing there across the scene. On the other side of like a bunch of ambulances, and they just kind of stare at each other. And Angel looks like he's getting emotional. He like kind of gives her like the knowing, like, you're going to be all right without me. I'm going to miss you, but this is what's best for both of us. And he gives her like the nod. He turns away and just walks off into the smoke. And I was like, that was a good send off for him. I liked that, like, walk away into the smoke.
I love that the smoke started coming up out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This magic fog.
Yeah.
And I love that there's like fire trucks, there's police, and like everyone should be questioned right now. Everyone should be. Like, there's a giant demon like inside the school because they found one in a volcano. So it means the remnants last.
Yeah.
How do you dispose of that?
Giles should be in jail for exploding a school, like bombing a school.
There should be so many questions. They're just walking around. They're just walking around like, all right.
Yep. But nobody has any questions for anybody. It's just like, all right, we all know what happened here.
Like, didn't that girl get a blood transfusion? And that guy we thought he was a drug addict that's walking away. And he's just like standing in the middle of the trucks just looking.
Yeah. But Angel walks off and then he walks off into his spin-off series.
It would have been amazing if the cop that was interrogating Faith and Buffy just slapped handcuffs on Buffy at the end of the episode.
Oh my God.
It would have been so bad and so cheesy, but so funny.
You're coming with me, kid. You got a lot of questions to answer.
I'm the new Mr. Snyder. I'm new Principal Snyder. I think you did something and you're coming downtown.
Yeah. But Angel walks off. Buffy looks sad. And then Cordelia, Xander, Oz, and Willow are all hanging out on a bench by the school, and they're like, holy shit. What a fucking battle that was. That was crazy, huh? And they're like, yeah, that was really wild. And then Buffy shows up, and they're like, Buffy, how you feeling? And Buffy's like, I need to get some fucking sleep, dude. And they're all like, yeah, we all need that. And then they all look up at the bombed, deteriorated high school, and they're like, wow, we survived. And then Buffy's like, yeah, that was a crazy battle, huh? And Oz goes, no, not just the battle. We survived high school. And then they're all like, yeah.
And I was like, bitch, you did 2 senior years.
Yeah, yep, right.
You talking like, oh, I like you made it twice.
Yeah. And then Oz goes, let's all take a moment to appreciate this, guy. Let's all take a moment, take it all in. And then like a second after he says that, everybody gets up and starts walking off. And I was just like, well, I guess the moment's passed. Okay, let's go. So they all walk off and they're like, man, I wonder what adventures we're going to go on next. And then the camera pans down to a yearbook, class of 99 or whatever.
Well, what is actually said is Willow saying, why do demons even come to Sunnydale anymore? Don't they know how bad we are? Like,
yeah,
that we kill everybody? Like, it's a very valid point.
Yeah. And then roll credits. That is the end of the episode. That is the end of season 3, everybody. We made it to the end of this season. And boy, oh boy, what a season it was. How did you feel about this episode here, Vance?
I think it's fine. I think we'll talk more about season and whole in the recap episode that's coming up. But yeah, this is fine, I guess. Like, it was fine.
It was silly, and there was
I like the episode before this better than this. I like part 1 better than part 2.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the drama in this episode gets like kind of undercut, and there's some characters like, we talked about it. There's some character moments that could have happened that I would have liked to have seen, but just didn't, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
But overall, a very entertaining, albeit, in my opinion, very silly episode.
Yes. I am really happy that the students got involved, and I would like to see, now that like they're not going to be in high school, they're going to be in college, the college students are going to be like, I don't know what vampires are anymore. So we get to reset that.
Yeah.
But I was really happy to be like, okay, maybe the students can actually start fighting a little bit. Like Buffy will handle the big shit, but they can handle a little shit.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that they included the rest of the students to be like, look, the jig is up, all right? We have fucking vampires. There's some shit about to go down.
Because I think I mentioned last episode, I was like, shouldn't they tell the students?
Yeah.
And they do. They tell the students, and that's great.
I also, this is a nitpicky fashion corner moment, but like in the final battle, Xander is wearing like an open button down to fight. Like, dude, these students, their attire for like a gigantic battle is such dumb bullshit, dude. Like they're like wearing skirts and heels, and Xander's
they're basically dressed exactly like they would be in school.
Yeah, like come on, dude. Like you gotta have some like aerodynamic.
Is Buffy wearing a jacket?
I think she is. Yeah.
Like she took off the robe and she put on a jacket.
Yeah, I mean, bad choices all around for fighting.
Well, she doesn't look bad, but yeah, it's like you should have. Does she have on running shoes? I don't think she does.
I don't think she's probably wearing her like heeled boots again.
I'm like, you should like. She should have those like pump up Reeboks. You're running from an Ascension monster.
Yeah. A lot of bad fashion choice. Like nobody looked bad necessarily. Like this isn't like a.
It's not practical attire for going into war.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. But yeah, that is it for Graduation Day Part 2, everybody. Just a reminder, we are going to be doing like a bonus recap episode of the entirety of Season 3, giving our opinions and thoughts and like some of our favorite and least favorite things going on. Check in on the Discord because we're going to be asking for some questions that you guys want us to answer. And again, like we said at the top of the episode, a lot of stuff coming to the Patreon. We got Boys Watching Angel. We got The Boys Go to the Movies. And then some additional stuff. Who knows what's going to come down the old pipeline with that. And you know what? Honestly, this episode made me like, I'm gonna miss the high school setting of this.
Oh yeah. I mean, that school is laid out really great. The library is iconic. And it's interesting, this show has 4 more seasons.
Yeah.
But people think of, like, I don't know if we see Jonathan again. I don't know if he goes further and he goes into the college.
I will say, on Wikipedia, I'm looking at it right now, it says this episode sees the last appearance of Cordelia Chase. Cordelia is no longer in this show, but she goes on to be a series regular in the Angel spinoff series. So,
yep, we have graduated. We have graduated with them to Angel.
And yeah, I saw the thumbnail for, I guess, the start of season 4, and it looks like Willow has a fucking terrible haircut in season 4.
No, I did not watch it. I know. I think I saw the thumbnail. I think I saw the title, The Freshman or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the title, but I saw the fucking Willow's haircut. Because it's like the...
you're not going to do the tease for the next episode here?
The tease for the next episode? I mean, hold on.
This is what we do. You do the thing, you say the title, and then I make a stupid prediction that...
You're right.
That has been right.
I'm so sorry. I forgot about this. Like, when I do the prediction...
We've only done like over 50 episodes.
Okay. All right. So you were absolutely right. The title of the next episode is The Freshman. I had to click on an extra thing to see.
I know, you're Wikipedia dependent.
Yeah. But yes, the next episode is titled The Freshman. What do we think? I'm looking at the DVD box set cover, and it's the fucking awful Willow Bob cut. And it looks
I'm looking forward to this. I don't know what this is.
It's just Buffy and Willow, and then there's a bunch of demon heads surrounding them. Yeah.
I think it might have something to do with them in college.
You think it is? You think so?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think... What adventures could... Because it's just Willow and Buffy, it looks like. Maybe they're just the gang now.
Yeah, it's Giles. I mean, I think Giles... You know what's crazy? Because people have talked about like loving Miss Calendar and stuff like that, and like she's not in the show a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it was only me talking about loving Miss Calendar.
No, I mean, just like anytime I talk to people about the show and like we're done, and they're like, "Oh, Miss Calendar," and stuff like that. So like these people are like in the thing. Like if Jonathan never has done another scene, like he's well known throughout like the show. So people have lasting. Principal Snyder. People remember him.
I loved Principal Snyder. Yeah. I'm so sad that he just got an unceremonious death.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. We'll talk more about it in the bonus episode. We'll have a lot of thoughts for that. Make sure to sign up for that Discord to really give us some things to talk about. We have ideas and like what we're going to talk about, but like if there's anything else you want answered by us.
If you're listening to this, you might be a little too late to chime in with the questions, but come in with the questions on Discord, or you can tweet at me at is that Vance? And
DM
then you can also
the Instagram, Boys Watching Buffy.
Yeah, we're gonna be chatting about this season for a while.
Yeah. But this is this is the end of season 3. It is, according to Wikipedia, their highest rated season. It had the most viewers with an average of 5.3 million viewers or something like that. And it took 2 Emmys. One for the Zeppo episode for a makeup, and then one for like a sound score for some, I forget what other episode.
What's the makeup in the Zeppo episode?
I don't quite remember.
Oh, the dead guys and the head.
Oh, yeah.
And what would you say the other one was for? The other Emmy?
It was for sound design or something, but I can't quite remember what it was. Oh, fuck me. Hold on a second. Let me look it up.
It's fine.
No, I'm finding it right now. They got an Emmy for outstanding sound editing for a series for the episode Lover's Walk. So there you go. It has a 100% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
So it's all downhill from here.
Exactly.
Can't wait.
I mean, that's what we were terrified of. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Sign up for the Discord, ask some questions, sign up for the Patreon for all the stuff that's going to be coming on there. And yeah, stay tuned for our next episode when we discuss the entirety of Season 3. Thanks, and we'll see you for that episode.
Pretty much fire bad, tree pretty.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.